The Harvard graduation ceremony was perfect. Sunshine bathed the historic buildings in golden light. Proud families clutched programs, and my son James, in his crimson robe, graduated summa cum laude. The only thing missing was his father. "He's really not coming, is he?" James asked, adjusting his cap. At 22, he looked so much like his father had at that age, but with a wisdom in his eyes his father had never possessed. I checked my phone one last time, nothing except the Instagram story my husband Tom had posted an hour earlier, him in a tuxedo. Caption: "Some loves are worth celebrating." Hashtags can chancate love, hashtag wedding bells. No honey. Apparently, Melissa's wedding was too important to miss. I straightened James's tie, pushing down the anger that threatened to surface. But I have a surprise that might make up for it. James raised an eyebrow. He'd inherited my skepticism. "Mom, you didn't have to." "Actually, I did." I pulled out an envelope. "Consider it a graduation gift, though you earned it entirely on your own merit." Inside was a contract naming him CFO of Blake Technologies, my carefully built tech empire that nobody, not even his father, knew I owned. For 15 years, I had operated through holding companies and investment firms, building a corporation that would revolutionize sustainable energy storage. "Mom," James's hands trembled as he read the document. "This is, you own Blake Technologies, the company that's been all over the financial news." I smiled, remembering how Tom had dismissed the company's success over breakfast last month. "It'll never last," he'd said. "Some trust fund kid playing at business. What do they know about real industry?" "I started building it the year your father began choosing his ex-girlfriend's events over our family," I explained. "Remember all those charity committees I served on? Perfect cover for board meetings. Those book club nights. Actually strategic planning sessions." James's eyes widened as understanding dawned. "The summer programming camps you sent me to were at my R&D facilities. You weren't just learning to code, you were helping develop our core technology. Your internships were all at subsidiary companies," he finished, laughing. "God, Dad always said you were wasting time with volunteer work while he built his career." Right on schedule, my phone buzzed with a news alert. The markets had just opened, and Blake Technologies stock was soaring on announcements of our latest energy storage breakthrough. "Your father chose today to attend his ex-girlfriend's wedding because she's marrying the CEO of Summit Industries. He thinks it'll help him finally get that promotion he's been chasing." James snorted. "The promotion you blocked? You knew?" "Mom, I interned in their finance department last summer, remember? I saw the acquisition offers. I knew they had to be coming from someone with inside knowledge of Dad's management style, or lack thereof." I grinned. He really was ready for the CFO position. "Summit Industries has been trying to expand into sustainable tech. Your father convinced them he could deliver Blake Technologies on a silver platter through his industry connections. But you own Blake Technologies. And now so do you." I pointed to the contract's equity arrangements. 20% vested immediately. You've earned it with your work on the core patents." James hugged me tight, his graduation robe rustling. "Does this mean?" "Yes. Monday morning, we're going public with everything, including the fact that I'm acquiring Summit Industries." I straightened his tassel. "Your father's about to learn that while he was chasing his past, he missed his future." "What about Melissa's wedding?" "Oh, that." I pulled out my phone, showing him the venue's ownership documents. "Let's just say the reception might be interrupted by some urgent business matters." The ceremony was starting, families taking their seats. James looked at the empty chair beside me, then at the contract in his hands. "He really thought you were just a trophy wife, didn't he? All these years." "Your father made the mistake many men do," I said, standing to straighten his cap one last time. "He assumed a quiet woman is a simple one, ready to show him otherwise." James grinned, my grin, the one that had sealed billion-dollar deals. "Absolutely." As the graduates lined up, my phone buzzed with another Instagram update from Tom. A photo with Melissa, captioned "Supporting old friends on their special day. Sorry to miss other events, but business comes first." I typed a quick reply, "Don't worry, honey. Our son understands completely that business comes first. In fact, he's about to show you exactly how business is done." Then I turned off my phone and took my seat, ready to watch my son graduate into his birthright. Not his father's struggling company, but my thriving empire. After all, some things are worth missing a wedding for. The graduation reception was in full swing when my phone started buzzing with frantic texts from Tom. Melissa's wedding had apparently hit an unexpected snag. The venue's ownership had mysteriously changed hands overnight, and the new owner was enforcing a strict corporate events-only policy. "What do you mean they're shutting down the reception?" his message read. "This is a disaster. Can you call some of your charity friends?" I showed the messages to James, who was entertaining a group of Harvard professors with insights into sustainable energy markets. "Should we tell him those charity friends are actually my board of directors?" "Not yet," James grinned, accepting another congratulatory handshake from the Dean of Business. "Let him sweat a little longer." The irony wasn't lost on me. While Tom scrambled to save his ex's wedding reception, we were surrounded by the world's top academics and business leaders, all eager to discuss James's groundbreaking thesis on renewable energy storage systems he had developed in my labs. My phone lit up with a news alert. Blake Technologies announces revolutionary partnership with MIT. Perfect timing. "Mrs. Reynolds?" A reporter from the Financial Times approached. "Could we get a comment on the rumors that Blake Technologies is planning a major acquisition?" I smiled mysteriously. "All I can say is that Monday's announcement will change the energy sector landscape." The reporter's eyes widened as recognition dawned. He had just realized who I really was. "Mom," James whispered as the reporter hurried away, "Dad's calling." I let it go to voicemail, instead watching the live stream from Melissa's wedding. The venue staff were very professionally informing guests that the reception would need to relocate. Tom was red-faced, arguing with security, his dreams of networking with Summit Industries CEO crumbling. "Your father never understood the difference between connections and relationships," I told James. "He thinks standing next to power makes you powerful." My phone buzzed again, this time with a message from my head of acquisitions. Summit Industries stock just dropped 12% on rumors of instability. "Should we begin buying?" "Execute Plan A," I replied. "Let's give them something real to worry about." James loosened his tie, watching the chaos unfold on the wedding livestream. "You know what's funny? Dad always said I should focus on practical business instead of sustainable energy research. Called it a rich kid's hobby. Meanwhile, your hobby just revolutionized grid-scale energy storage." I showed him another news alert. Our stock had jumped 30% on the MIT announcement. The dean approached again, this time with the university president. "James, your mother tells us you'll be taking an executive position." "Chief Financial Officer of Blake Technologies," James confirmed, shaking hands. "Though we'll be announcing some structural changes Monday." My phone lit up with a text from Sarah, my chief of operations. Summit Industries CEO just left the wedding, heading to emergency board meeting. "Right on schedule," I murmured. James excused himself from the conversation and pulled me aside. "Mom, Melissa just posted on Instagram. She's blaming Dad for ruining her wedding. Apparently, he promised the venue was taken care of through his business connections." I checked the post. It was scathing. "Your father always did overpromise and underdeliver." Speaking of delivering, James said, "Shouldn't we head to the office? The Summit Industries board meeting starts in an hour." I checked my watch. Actually, I thought we could crash a wedding first. 20 minutes later, our car pulled up to the scattered remains of Melissa's reception. Guests in formal wear milled about while Tom argued desperately with the venue manager. "This must be some mistake," he was saying. "Do you know who I am? Who these people are?" "Actually," I said, stepping out of the car with James, "they know exactly who everyone is." Tom spun around, his face shifting from rage to confusion. "What are you? Why aren't you at the graduation?" "Oh, we finished that hours ago," James said coolly. "Dad, I believe you missed my valedictory speech. Something about the future of sustainable energy technology." "I had important business," Tom started. "Yes," I cut in. "We know all about your important business with Summit Industries. How's that going?" His face paled. "How did you?" "Mom," James interrupted, checking his phone. "Summit's stock just dropped another 8%. Should we start the next phase?" "Next phase of what?" Tom demanded. "What are you talking about?" Melissa stormed over, mascara running. "This is your fault, Tom. You promised you had influence, connections." I smiled, pulling out my tablet. "Speaking of connections, would you like to see some real ones?" I pulled up the venue's ownership documents, showing my signature at the bottom. For instance, this venue now belongs to Blake Technologies' hospitality division. Tom's jaw dropped. Blake Technologies? But that's my company, I finished. Well, mine and James's now. He's taking over as CFO on Monday. I turned to Melissa. By the way, congratulations on your wedding. Shame about your fiance's company, though. What about his company? She demanded. Oh, you haven't heard. James showed her his phone, displaying Summit Industries' plummeting stock price. They're about to be acquired. Hostile takeover. Very unfortunate timing. Tom grabbed my arm. You, all this time. I removed his hand firmly. Yes, dear, all this time. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have a board meeting to attend. James, shall we? As we walked away, Tom called out, Wait. What about my position at Summit? I turned back, savoring the moment. Don't worry, honey. I'm sure you'll find something. At your level. After all, business comes first, right? The Summit Industries boardroom fell silent as James and I walked in. Their CEO, Melissa's new husband, was mid-presentation, desperately trying to explain their plummeting stock price. I apologize for interrupting, I said smoothly, but I believe you're discussing my company's acquisition offer. Your company? The CEO stammered, his wedding boutonniere already wilted. But Blake Technologies is sitting right in front of you, James finished, taking a seat at the table. Though technically, we prefer Reynolds Global now. The rebranding goes public on Monday. I enjoyed watching comprehension dawn on their faces. These men had dismissed my company as a temporary market disruption. Now they were realizing who really held the power. This is impossible, the CEO protested. Tom assured us. Yes, my husband. I projected Tom's personnel file onto the screen. Currently a middle manager in your declining energy division. Tell me, did you really believe he had the authority to broker a deal with Blake Technologies? The board members shifted uncomfortably. One cleared his throat. Mrs. Reynolds, perhaps we could discuss this privately. Like you discussed acquiring my company behind my back. James pulled out his tablet. I have the emails. Fascinating reading, especially the parts about an easy takeover and inexperienced leadership. My phone buzzed with a text from Tom. Please don't do this. I can explain everything. I ignored it and addressed the board. Gentlemen, you have two options. Accept our very generous offer or watch your stock price drop another 30% when we announce our new energy storage patents Monday morning. Patents that make your entire infrastructure obsolete, James added casually. Mom, didn't their technical team try to hack our servers last month? They did, I confirmed. Right after Tom's networking attempt at the wedding. The CEO loosened his bow tie, his wedding day already forgotten. What are your terms? James, I gestured to my son. Would you like to handle this? Consider it a graduation present. For the next 20 minutes, I watched proudly as James outlined our acquisition strategy. Every number was flawless, every projection precise. The Harvard professors would have been proud. Finally, the CEO crumbled. We'll have the paperwork drawn up. Already done. I slid across the contracts Marcus had prepared. Sign today, and we'll retain 40% of your executive team. Wait until Monday, and that drops to 10%. As they signed, my phone lit up with notifications. Tom had arrived in the lobby, demanding to be let upstairs. I texted security. Let him watch the live feed. James gathered the signed contracts, then addressed the room. One final announcement. Due to ethical concerns, we'll be conducting a complete audit of all executive relationships and communications. He paused meaningfully, particularly any involving my father. The CEO's wedding day pallor turned ghostly. Those emails would reveal everything, including Tom's promises about Blake Technologies. Speaking of weddings, I said, standing and smoothing my dress. Please extend my congratulations to Melissa. I hear the venue situation was unfortunate. In the lobby, Tom watched on security monitors as his career imploded. His phone showed missed calls from Melissa, whose new husband was about to become an unemployed ex-CEO. Mrs. Reynolds, my assistant, called. Your jet is ready. The Harvard dean is hosting a dinner to discuss the new Reynolds School of Sustainable Technology. Perfect. I gathered my things, then turned to the shell-shocked board. Gentlemen, it's been educational. James will oversee the transition team. I suggest full cooperation. In the elevator, James finally let out the laugh he'd been holding. Did you see their faces when they realized who you were? Almost as good as your father's face at the wedding. I showed him the security feed of Tom in the lobby, watching his world collapse. Should we tell him about the house? James asked. You mean how I bought it last year? Let's wait until he tries to go home. I smiled. Consider the lesson in due diligence. My phone buzzed one final time. Melissa had posted a furious update about her ruined wedding, tagging Tom and blaming him for everything. Mom, James said softly, remind me never to underestimate you. No me, honey. I hugged him close. You're the one person who never did. As we walked out of Summit Industries building, soon to be Reynolds Global's newest office, I couldn't help but think how right Tom had been about one thing. Business did come first. He just never realized whose business it would be. The sun was setting on his empire. But for James and me, it was only the beginning.